Alright, hey guys, it is TsubakiSwagg, and I'm coming to you with my review of Nanatsu no Taizai chapter 142. And this chapter, I was not like, there has been so much that has happened since the last chapter that I reviewed. I don't remember what it was. I think it was definitely in the 130s, but a lot has happened since the last chapter that I reviewed. And pretty much, long story short, Bon has been searching for a way to resurrect Elaine, and he was like, we all know that they even showed it during the anime, that he was even willing to kill his own friend Meliodas to bring Elaine back. And Meliodas was man enough to forgive him and still consider Bon a friend. Now that is a true fucking friend. I mean, if somebody tried to kill me, you would not ever come near me ever again, ever. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that, because I wouldn't trust you anymore. But Meliodas, he is fucking awesome, and I love Meliodas. That is probably one of the main reasons why he is one of my favorite characters from the show, is because of his character and his willingness to forgive people when he knows that there is good in them. And Bon is one of those people, because even like, there was a whole part when Bon and Jericho were adventuring, looking for ways, or following a hunch to find a way to resurrect Elaine. And he came across a beast man, and the beast man was telling him stories of like when he was younger and he was helping this little kid, blah blah blah. And it turns out that he is actually the one who raised Bon. Zhivago is actually the one who raised Bon, and Bon didn't know all this time that he was a beast man. So like, that chapter was so fucking sad, those two chapters, because Bon finally got to see Zhivago again, and Zhivago was like, I'm so sorry for leaving you, blah blah blah, I couldn't protect either one of my sons. And he genuinely considered Bon a son, because Bon went through so much when he was younger. Like, I feel horrible for the way that Bon was raised. Like, he was treated literally like trash, and then he went for days without eating or anything. And then one time when he did eat, when Zhivago gave him food, his dad kicked him in the stomach, and Bon ate his throw up because he was so fucking hungry. And that is so fucking sad. Like, why in the world would you treat your child like that? What would possess you to treat a life that you gave birth to like that? I honestly don't understand, and I probably never will understand why parents are so, or why parents can be so abusive to their children, because that's not okay. It's another human being, another living life. You wouldn't want somebody to treat you that way, so why the fuck would you do it to somebody else? But I'm sorry, I get passionate about that stuff. But yeah, this whole, like, the past like 4 or 5 chapters have been like Bon and Jericho traveling, and then they met Zhivago again, and then Zhivago passed away because he had been injured too much, and he was able, I think he was finally at peace because he was able to see Bon again, and he was able to tell him pretty much that he loved him without actually telling him, but he was able to tell him that he loved him and that he was so proud of him for doing better, even though it was Bon's fault that he got in the predicament that he was in. But I feel so bad for Zhivago. He was fucking awesome, and he is the reason why Bon is the way he is now, and Bon isn't out in jail or dead or anything. And it's because of Zhivago that he actually met Elaine, because Zhivago told Bon about the Fountain of Youth. So if he had never found out about it, he probably never would have went there, and he never would have met Elaine, and then maybe Elaine would have been alive, or she still might have died, considering that Bon was the one who killed the demon. But I mean, that's neither here nor there. So in this chapter we see well, last chapter actually, we saw this woman. They don't really say what her name is, but she has been resurrecting people. And the rumors that Bon and Jericho heard were actually true, that these people were coming back from the dead, and they were doing, like, they said they saw some soldiers that were marching looking like they were going somewhere. There was a woman who killed her husband, a woman who came back to life and killed her husband, or her husband came up dead later on. And now where they're at, like, Elaine got brought back to life, because the woman who's bringing them all back is bringing back the souls of the dead who have regret, or they left something in the world that they can't let go of. So Elaine is one of those people that came back, and she went the fuck off. Like, it made me so happy, because I fucking hate Gerard. Gerard is an asshole, and we all know this, because she is the one who pretty much threatened Bond and was willing to defile Elaine's body because Bond was considered the king when she didn't want him to be king, and then King became king again. I said king a lot in that sentence. But Elaine came back and she bitch slapped the shit out of Gerard. That made me so happy. I was so ecstatic when that happened, because it was so fucking funny. But Elaine fucked them up, and then she went to Bond. Well, first she called Oslo, and of course we know that King he's the fairy king, so he can sense these things. And Helbram, I like the fact that he can still talk to Helbram, because Helbram was awesome before what's-his-face got a hold of him. So Helbram pretty much told him that Elaine had come back to life. Well, he said that somebody's causing the dead to come back to life. So of course King said that he had to go, he had to leave, he had to do whatever he needed to do, and Meliodas, being the friend that he is, wanted to help, and King is still being an asshole to Meliodas. I mean, I can understand why he might not trust him, but Meliodas really hasn't done anything to make them not trust him, so I don't understand why King is being such a dick to him. But King went off, and Meliodas was like, well, if you ever need any help, just let me know and I'll come help you, because that's the kind of person that Meliodas is. So King went to wherever it is that he thought Elaine was going, or wherever Elaine was, which would be in the forest, and they showed like Bond pouring out some alcohol for Zvigo on his grave, Zvigo, and a zombie popped up out the ground and almost beat the shit out of Jericho because she was a woman and he like hated women. It looked so fucking awesome. Like, they outdid themselves on the sketch in this chapter, because it looked freaking amazing. And Bond is fucking badass. Like, Bond literally just squeezed his head until it popped like a grape. I wasn't prepared for that. It was so fucking awesome. Bond is freaking amazing. Love Bond. But after that, we see Elaine. Elaine finally pops up, and she looked like she was about to kill Jericho, but Jericho, I guess she managed to dodge or something, or she knocked her out the way. And Elaine like stabbed Bond in the chest and then kissed him. And that was the part that I didn't understand. I'm like, if you are so in love with Bond, I guess you know that he can't die, but if you are so in love with Bond, why are you trying to kill him? I don't understand. But this chapter was fucking awesome, and I really want to find out what happens in the next chapter. I want to see what Elaine has to say to Bond. I want to see what Bond has to say to Elaine, because there's just so many feels. And it's like Bond just buried another friend, and well, a father, and now his lover came back and is trying to kill him and kiss him at the same time. I don't understand. But yeah, I would love to hear how you guys felt about this chapter, because this chapter was fucking awesome. And like I said, the graphics on this chapter were freaking amazing. They outdid themselves on that zombie of the dude that came up out of the ground. But I'm so prepared for next chapter to come out. So yeah, so as always, please remember to comment, thumbs up, and subscribe. It helps me a whole lot. And this is TsubakiSwagg saying adios.